What up, people? Welcome to the Doing Everything Different podcast. I'm your host, Devin, Lars, and I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. It's crazy how we're already getting ready to jump into 2024. The holiday seasons are here, so it's always weird with work and, balancing family time and looking ahead and looking back at the, the year and to see how kind of things played out and thinking about, what we want to accomplish in 2024. And there was something that I was listening to, and I had listened to this book before. I do a lot of audio books, and I listened to it last year around this time too. It's called "Letting Go," and I'm going to link this book in the show notes or the description or whatever. But the concept of the book is just really around kind of how your mind works, right, and the psychology of our minds and how we hold on to things. And most of the times we hold on to stuff and don't even really realize we're holding on to it. And it's causing us to act a certain way and to do stuff in a certain manner that sometimes isn't aligned with where we want to go. And so it's been a super insightful book. Just listening to it, especially around this time of the year, like I said, you're in holidays, kind of gearing up for, this break and the holiday season to be able to be with family and friends. And I've just been taking this time to really reflect on this past year and where I'm going. And it's so funny how so much everything in our life is determined by our mindset and our operating system, right? This is our operating system, how we see the world, how we view things, our philosophy, our past experiences, the things that inspire us. All of that stuff is in our head. And a lot of these past experiences that I'm starting to, really start to understand sometimes gets in our way of going where we want to go. And sometimes it the human mind will try to you'll try to self-sabotage or put limitations on yourself. There was something I heard, it wasn't in this book necessarily, but it goes with the same concept around, we're kind of like our mental mindset or something like that is similar to a thermostat, right? So we set the temperature of how far we want to see ourselves go in life or how much we think that we can accomplish, right? So say you have it set at 72 degrees. So when you get to a certain level of success or whatever that is, you reach 72 degrees. So it'll turn off and you won't go past that. And I think that there's a lot of things that are in our mind that won't let us grow past where we've been. Stuff that we're holding on that just doesn't serve us anymore. And this book just really goes into the process of how to let stuff go, how to get past stuff, and how to just be able to move on with your life and take your life to the next level. And so it's been super insightful. I've learned a lot already, and it was something I just wanted to share. I thought this episode was a good time with the end of the year approaching and people starting to reflect and think about this type of stuff. I also learned too, it's kind of weird, is sometimes we go searching for something. Like we think it's something that we have to go find, when in reality, a lot of the times what we're looking for is right in front of us. And I think that maybe we've gotten so used to seeing it, we don't look at it from fresh eyes. And so it's super easy to look past it if we're not challenging our perspective and challenging our way that we view things and trying to step back and look at it from a different perspective. And so that's another thing that I've been really reflecting on is, sometimes what we need, everything that we need is right in front of us. We just have to change our relationship to it, right? There was a line in Drake's album that said he said something like, all the things I used to dream about is my reality, is here now. And so it's like everything that you do in life that you start to build upon, you start getting used to it if you get it for a certain amount of time, right? So say you get a new car, it's going to feel new for the, first 6 months, year, maybe even 2 years. But sooner or later, you're going to start getting used to it, and it's not going to have that same effect on you as it did when you first got it. And so does that change the car and the relationship with it, or did you just get used to it? And so I think that, again, there's there's so many things that we could do from just restructuring our mindset of how we look at things in our life and appreciating what we have in our life and trying to become better at, looking at it. Because I think there's just things that we all have in our lives that we take for granted. And we don't really realize how much we take it for granted until it's taken away. And so I'm trying to really get into the perspective of not having to let it get to that point where it gets taken away or I lose something or something happens for me to realize that, oh, wow, that actually was good that I appreciate. And, taking the time to slow down. A lot of us are constantly on to the next thing, especially with technology, work, career. When you get busy and you start having kids and family, relationships and all this stuff, life starts to get busy and things just move. Things move. This year has went by so fast. It's been crazy. It's like the weeks go by like days now. And so taking the time to reflect and appreciate it while you have it and not just rushing past it is something I'm trying to do a better job of. And I was talking to my grandmother on Thanksgiving, and she's 84, and we were just talking about life and her perspective at 84, and just all the stuff that she's had to go through, all the stuff that losing all of her close friends, and her just having to deal with where she's at right now. So I was just asking her, like, what would you give your 36-year-old self? And what kind of advice would you have? And she was just saying how it was just to slow down and to really appreciate, what you have and take it one day at a time. Don't get too far ahead. And I think I get caught up in that a lot where I'll be thinking, too far, just go versus being able to be present and in the moment. And so Thanksgiving, I really did a good job of being with my family and being present, which I struggle with. I'm always, again, on go mode. And so it's been something that's really helped. And so I don't know, it was something on my mind that I wanted to share on this episode. The book is really, really good. I think for those of you that are looking to, everybody says new year, new me and all that stuff. And I think I think there's some reality to looking at the new year and all of this stuff. Most New Year's resolutions end, I think by like February or something like that. So I don't think it's something that necessarily, New Year's resolutions are something that's going to so much of stick. I think there's certain things in just throughout the year that you want to constantly get better at and work at. But if this is something that you're looking to, change some things next year, you're looking at to develop and take your life to another level, I highly recommend this book. It's very simple. Like the concepts of it are very simple and kind of like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. But they're impactful. They're sometimes, sometimes we complicate things too much. We overcomplicate stuff, and things are really more simple than we make them. And this helps you just keep that in perspective. So again, I will link the book below, whether you can get it on Amazon or Audible. That's where I listen to it. And yeah, excited to continue to build this out. My team and I are working on how do we develop and make this podcast better? How do we get different type of guests with different perspectives? How do we, how do I step my game up as a podcast host and interview better, ask better questions? How do we get creative in how we format and frame the show? So it's been good. I'm excited about 2024 and looking ahead into where we're going. And yeah, I appreciate all the comments, listens, supports, shares, subscribes, all of that stuff. And yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. And until the next episode, I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.